Who exactly is eligible to join NPS?
Anybody who wants to plan for retirement that the organization deducts from her salary and pays to the Provident Fund Commissioner to manage our funds. With whatever money she has, the amount is actually only 1,000 rupees. So that I can tell you about last 10 years history. That certainly has been better.
Whether you're a content creator, a freelancer, or an NRI. Hello and welcome to the second episode of our special series on NPS, that is the National Pension System. Once again, we have with us Mr. Subhasis Ghosh, the CEO of Kotak Mahindra Pension Fund. In the first episode, we discussed what exactly NPS is all about, how much you need to contribute to it. In the second episode, an important question: who all can actually join the NPS? Hi, Mr. Ghosh, thank you again for joining us here.
Thank you.
All right, so now we'll come to our second case study, which is a 32-year-old, Priya, her name is. She's a freelance content creator. She wants to invest in her future, but she's not sure if NPS is for her. So, who exactly is eligible to join NPS?
Anybody is eligible to join NPS. Anybody who wants to plan for retirement requires money at the time when the person retires is eligible. And in fact, I would say Priya requires it more than maybe you and I, because we have Provident Fund, which is a forced saving that the organization deducts from our salary and pays to the Provident Fund Commissioner to manage our funds. Priya doesn't have that. So more than anybody else, she's the person who's responsible for her retirement. So she requires to put in money. Now, you may say that Priya doesn't have a steady job, as we understand within quotes, job. What she can do is to open an account with whatever money she has, she can put away. The amount is actually only 1,000 rupees. So even if the days or years in which she does well, she can push aside the money that she feels she can. And the years in which, or the times in which, or the months in which her income is not so good, she just has to put 1,000 rupees a year. And the beauty of it is, just suppose she is not even to put even 1,000 rupees. All she has to do is to put 1,000 rupees a year in which she can, multiplied for the number of years she hasn't. So for 5 years, if she couldn't put even 1,000 rupees, sixth year, she just has to put 5,000 rupees. And the account is starting again, or rather, I would say unfreezing, and the contributions continue. So more than anybody else, Priya requires it.
All right, so your account freezes if you're not able to put in a basic amount,
which is 1,000 rupees a year. That's it.
Which is 1,000 rupees a year. Okay. Yeah. So I think most people should be able to pay at least
Should
that
be.
much
Should be.
amount of money. But I want to ask, like, there are a lot of people now who are, freelancers, content creators, gig economy, etc. Number of salaried people versus probably those who want to do their own thing. The equation is changing. So would you recommend NPS as an option for those who are, say, content creators, may not have an absolutely regular source of income?
Oh, yes, definitely. As I said, since they do not have the stability of income of their company saving on their behalf, they are responsible for their future. So they need to save. Otherwise, they may come to a situation where they have not saved enough for the time of retirement, and then the work goes down. And we know now that jobs are changing. The kind of job you have today may not exist 10 years down the line. So you should save. I mean, that much is for sure.
All right. And how often should one be contributing to the NPS?
See, logically, you should do it once every month, like an SIP. You should do it once every month. The beauty about NPS is that you can put in as much money as you want whenever you have money. So the year, let's say Priya gets a good contract, she should put away whatever money she feels she can over and above the SIP. So that will add to her base. And the earlier you contribute, the more is the compounding effect of money till the age of 60.
Right. So even people with like PPF and EPF, etc., NPS is a good option.
Yes, yes, of course, of course. First of all, the returns that you get for NPS, since they're market determined, historically has been better than PPF. So that I can tell you about last 10 years history. That certainly has been better. That is one reason you should. And you have the ability to get into the market. You can invest up to 75% of the money in equity. That gives you certainly an equity kicker. And over the long term, all of us understand it is the equity that beats inflation more than debt. So with 75% in equity in tier one, that's where you get the benefit.
All right. So I like drawing from one personal, experience. Like, what if a person has a spouse who is, say, a government employee? So they are already going to get pension at the end of it. So do you think that in that kind of scenario, it's worth, a person investing in NPS apart from their spouse also getting that government pension? Or is it better to like, get into then equities and like watch your wealth grow?
See, first of all, do you want to be dependent on your spouse when you retire? That's a
No, but
choice.
I mean, it's like a couple, right? So you're
Yeah,
planning couple goals
I
financially.
understand. See, again, getting into equity, I'm not saying you shouldn't. You probably should, provided you understand it. See, the way I look at it, I believe I'm an Indian. So I believe that any place I go to, and that's what I tend to do, that I order a thali. Because thali, you really don't know what is good in a particular state. What is the, what dish is particularly good in that state. So when I order a thali, I got a mix of what is best offered in the state. So even your doctor will tell you that if you're a healthy individual, you require carbohydrate and you require protein both. So yes, if you're a normal person who's not 100% in equity, because we have other jobs to do. We're not an equity player. We have a day job, or if you're a content creator, you're working that way. You should probably get into equity, but you might want to look at a situation where there's a professional fund manager also managing it. So you hedge. One side you're on your own, and the second side you take the help of a professional who is also managing the money on your behalf. And by the way, I must add this: NPS is recognized globally as the lowest cost actively managed fund.
Right.
So let that sink in. World's lowest cost.
Yeah, no, that would be an important thing because obviously, then if you're investing in mutual funds, there is some portion that kind of gets cut off because it's being again actively managed, but by a different entity, right? So, what if I am like changing jobs or someone wants to move abroad? If you're changing jobs, I'm presuming it doesn't have that much impact since you're anyway investing from your end. So, your job change should not impact your NPS investment at least. But what if you're like moving abroad? Techies, they get jobs in the US.
So what we advise people is that do not close your NPS account. So our advice is that even if you're moving abroad, let the account here be here. Just give 1,000 rupees a month to get it open, because you are not sure whether you will be abroad forever or come back. There are two people that I know. In fact, my own relationship manager in Kotak Mahindra Bank, he took up PR and went to Australia, but he couldn't settle down there. He couldn't get the job that he had of his seniority. He came back to India. Similarly, somebody I know went to Canada and the person is back. So you do not know. So let the account continue till you're 60. And because you are anyway in there. If you really want to close down the account completely, there's a way out to do that also.
All right.
You can close down the account anytime you want. Then you have to take 20% of the money comes to you tax free. 80% you have to buy an annuity. But personally, if you ask me, I wouldn't advise it.
Right. Especially, I think, in an environment like this where everything is so uncertain.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't know.
You may think that you're going to have that wonderful life abroad,
Yes.
and maybe you're back to home.
Yes. And the chances of that seem to be increasing by the
You're
day.
absolutely right, Sana.
Yeah. All right. So, well, what about NRIs? I mean, I'm already an NRI, already settled there. Do I still invest in NPS?
Yes, you can do that because you're getting exposure to Indian equity.
Hmm.
You have to go through the process of opening an account that all of us have to do, and you can invest.
And the process of opening the account would be the same as that for
Yes,
Indians?
yes.
All right. And what about if someone takes like a career break? Do you keep investing in the NPS?
Again, if you have money to save, you mustn't let go of your discipline. If you let go of the discipline, to come back is always far more difficult. It's like putting on weight. You're exercising every day, and suddenly you take a break and you go on a holiday and you eat out, and after 2 months, now you have to work very, very hard to get back into shape. So, advice is that unless you run out of money completely, you should
Less than
invest.
1,000 rupees also.
Sorry?
Less than 1,000 rupees also.
Yeah. Then is a different matter. Otherwise, you should save right throughout, whatever you can. And in the worst situation, keep at least 1,000 rupees. Keep the account open.
All right. So, I mean, for someone who doesn't have complete job security, as we've been discussing, if I'm only able to invest a very small or nominal amount in NPS annually, would it still be worth it by the end of
Of
it?
course, you may not be able to take 10,000 steps every day, but that shouldn't stop you from taking 1,000 steps.
All right. Well, that is food for thought. So basically, NPS is for absolutely anyone, whether you're employed, whether you have a spouse who is already going to get pension, whether you're a content creator, a freelancer, or an NRI. Do consider NPS for your long term investments. Thank you so much, Mr. Ghosh, for that one. So, now on the next episode, we have probably the most important question when you're considering NPS. So, stay tuned right here.